Tonight and Shabbos, Rabbi Yitzchak Silver, Dayan Yitzchak Silver, here from Yerushalayim, who's very well known in Yerushalayim, Kodesh. He's a Dayan, Choshen Mishpat. Has written many Sfarim on that, on 2-3 Sfarim there outside on Choshen Mishpat in Yonim. And aside from that, it's very sought after madrich for many people, different stages of life, chsanim, rabbanim, and people looking for direction in areas that are not often difficult to find people who are experts in those inyanim. And Baruch Hashem, Rabbi Silver is a real expert in understanding people and communicating with people, and it's a tremendous chos that Rav Silver has decided to come after a week in non-stop shiurim in Lakewood and other places to come to our community. He'll be here tonight, and there's other shiurim throughout the next few days as well that he'll be giving, and information will be available. And so he said that he's never short on time, so he uses all the time he has. So it's a big schus to call on Rav Silver. Thank you very much for joining us. So you can leave it. Shalom Avracha. It's a privilege to be able to speak to you. I don't know where to start. Let's start with Parshas HaShavua, because that's what people do. So you see some beautiful things in Parshas HaShavua. We see Avram Avinu, when he had to pitch tent, Rashi says he first pitched her tent and then he pitched his tent. So that sounds okay, like a woman really needs it. She's not going to pitch any tent, you anyway have to do it. You might as well do hers first. Then Avram Avinu turns around to his wife in Parshas HaShavua, and he says, "Now I see you're so beautiful." And there's a big kasha. He's been married to her for a number of decades, and all of a sudden he realizes she's beautiful, and he never complimented her before. So Rashi has a few answers. One of the answers is that when you travel, it takes its toll, and people don't look so good. So while they were traveling, he turned to her and he said, "Wow, you look so good." So it looks very nice. We also see in this week's parasha that Sarah Imenu, who was a Neviah, she was a very great Neviah, and she turns to Avram Avinu and she says to him, "I'm too old, but maybe you could take in Hagar, and surrogate will have a child, we'll grow him up and we'll continue generations, and it'll be ours." And he listens to her, and Hagar gets pregnant, and she starts being chutzpahdik to her boss. And Sarah turns around to Avram and says to him, "Chamosi olecho, ganef, chomos, vatimole oretz chomos, ganef. Why did you do this to me? Why did you daven only for yourself and not for me?" It's a bit interesting, right? How come Avram Avinu didn't answer her back? Well, you're the one who said we should do this. We did it. We davened so hard it should work. It worked. Let's say thank you to Hashem. Why are you screaming at me? But it doesn't do that. Somebody once asked me to read some notes on Shalom Bayis, and there was a line over there that when your wife is screaming at you, tell her, "Why are you screaming?" Say that gently. We can get to the same place. Please explain yourself gently. When you're screaming, you're causing a rift between us. I'll tell you the truth, it was like a cold blade in my back. Really? A rift? When she's screaming, you're supposed to feel so close to her. Why should that cause a rift? And I'll tell you where I got it from. The Gemara says that a person has to love his wife, just like he loves himself, or mechabda, respect her even more than himself. Most guys don't need too much jewelry, but women do. Rashi says, buy her jewelry. You don't understand this because you don't need jewelry, but you have to be mechabda yosemi gufay. There's certain things that guys are not so embarrassed about. I fell over in the street. I didn't do anything wrong. I get up, I go on, and I'm not embarrassed. But if a woman falls over in the street, she's very embarrassed. There's certain things that can go on between a husband and wife. Oh, come on in. Don't be embarrassed. But, my shetel's not straight or whatever it is. There's certain things that, don't be embarrassed. Let's just go. But it doesn't work like that. She is embarrassed. Rashi says, Zilus di'itza kosher midegeva. She has, if you are, I have a kagufay, umechabda, I can hold it if you want. If you are, I have a kagufay, umechabda yosemi gufay, so then
1, 2, 3.
Then her embarrassment is going to be your embarrassment. Her happiness is going to be your happiness. It's, she found $10 in the street. She's so happy about it that she earns $70 an hour. Why is she so happy about that? But she's happy. Be happy with her. The whole of Klal Yisrael, chayecha koidmin. 2 men going in the desert, 1 bottle of water. It's my water. If I drink it, I'll get to civilization and I'll live. If we take half each, none of us will get to civilization. So it's mine. Chayecha koidmin. When it gets to your wife, you have to be mechabda yosemi gufay. The Gemara says that if a person should always eat a little bit less than the money he has, and he should dress as much money as he has, and he should feed and clothe his wife and children with more money than he has. Sometimes you take debt because you know roughly how to pay it off. Don't go crazy and get yourself in trouble. So you have to be mechabda yosemi gufay. I tell you, there was once a country called Yugoslavia. Many years ago, when I was a team, there was a country called Yugoslavia, and Mr. Gorbachev started giving independence to all the different... and he gave Yugoslavia independence. The trouble with Yugoslavia is that it was made up of Bosnia, Herzegovina, Croatia. It was like 7 countries that Russia decided to amalgamate, and you cannot mix copper with clay. It doesn't work. So what happened was, when they got their independence, there was ethnic cleansing. Hundreds of thousands were murdered from each side. At the same time, there was a big wall in the middle of Berlin, and people used to be moisa nefesh mamish to jump across that wall from the east to the west. And that wall came down, and they homogenized the 2 halves of Germany with no problems. Why? What is the difference? Why Yugoslavia, the decades that we were together, could not homogenize, and the 2 halves of East and West Germany just homogenized? Well, the truth is, if you take a look at last week's parsha, you see that the 70 nations, the whole world, were very, very powerful. And they wanted to use the Sitra Acha, Shtei Rishuyos, to build a big tower, and Kaviochel fight Hashem. We'll manage ourselves using supernatural forces. And Hashem said, no, I'm not letting that happen. You're scared, pen yofuts, kain yofuts, and he spread them out. He gave them 70 sorim. He split the power, and each sar got its land and its language and mentality, and that's it. You can't mix them. Germany was all one country. There was like a lion scaring them to be together, so on both sides of the walls. But take the lion away, knock the wall down, and they homogenized very fast. Same country, same sar in Shamayim, the same language, everything was the same. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, says the Ravad, when he created male and female animals, there were 2 separate beings. Therefore they fight, they snatch things from each other, they cohabit, and they walk off without any responsibility one to the other, without any... For human beings, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said that's loy toiv. Loy toiv heis adam levadoi. It's not good to have that 38-year-old bachelor who runs every night to a different party, and he's in the middle of his career, at the end of his career, and it's loy toiv. He is levadoi. He is very lonesome. That's not good. You can't live like an animal. Man is better. So what did he do? He made one being. Ochor v'kedem tzaratani. He made one being with a double-faced. Yeah, there was the man at the front and the woman at the back, and it was one being. And they went together and they did together. And then he split it. But the Gemara says, interestingly, that originally Hashem did think, oh, I'll make Adam and Chava two separate beings. But then he decided, no, making them one being. Then he sawed them down the center, and he decorated Chava with 24 beautiful things, and he fixed up the operation from Adam. And Adam woke up, and he sees her across and he hugs her and kisses her, and he says, wow, and ever since then, so what does this mean? Why did he originally think, oh, we'll make them two beings, then he made them one, then he split it? Like, why didn't you just go ahead in the beginning and make two beings like you did by the animals? Says the Rabbi for this. If you're going back to what you originally were, my mother witnessed Crystal Night, so it's a little bit hard for me to use that mashal. I'm waiting for North and South Korea to make peace, and I'll have a better mashal. But if you were originally one, then you can go back and reunite. And they want it's a very emotional bond. They want to be together all the time, and that's what a husband and wife is. The Zohar Kodesh says the two halves of one neshama. The Gemara says that 40 days before a child was conceived, it's already announced in heaven who his wife is going to be. The Gemara says that your wife is like a lost limb. This is what the Rabbi says. You're like the body and she's one of your limbs. You just have to go out there and find her and reconnect. So you're two halves of one whole. Okay. So we're not like animals who hit each other and come together instinctively and move on. No. We're two halves of one unit, and our job is to reconnect. Now this was even to people who just have Shiva Mitzvahs B'nei Noach. By the time you get to Yiddishkeit, we have a mitzvah of Kemishpat Habonis Yaseh Lo She'ero Ksusa V'Oinosa Lo Yigra. The Rabbi continues and says, 3 lines. Al Kain, Ro ha'odom lehi v'ishtei kenafshay. Therefore, a man should love his wife like he loves himself, and he should respect her, and he should have l'rachim oleh u'leshomro. He should protect her and have mercy on her, and also she should do the same for him, and she should take care of him because she came from him. She's one of the limbs. If you have a fly in your nose, you don't have to say, "Please, finger, can you get him off?" And a second later, he's on your ear. It's just natural. And then the Ravid finishes off. Al kein tziva haboires odom al ishtoi she'era ksusa v'einosa lo yigra. We see quite clearly in this Ravid that mitzvahs oina to your wife is not just being together asher piri yitain be'itoi to mitzvahs puruvu. Mitzvahs oina is also to take care of her, to protect her, to love her, and to respect her. There's also a Rabbeinu Tam says that if you're going on a journey, your wife needs you desperately before you go. But if at the time she's not tahira and it's not possible to give her what she really needs, so you should sit down and chat with her, divrei ritzui, compliment her, make her feel good. So we see that this mitzvah is to take care of all of her physical and emotional needs. And it's not only that, it's also a total unity. So if she screams, if she's miserable, your other half is miserable. If someone thinks his wife is stupid, so he is half stupid because his other half is stupid. So women are different to men. They were created completely different. And yes, Sarah Imenu can stand up and say, Chamosi Olecha. Now we don't know what kind of tziruf shemus and how much Ruach HaKodesh was going on at the time because we have no idea who our grandparents or their grandparents were. We can't understand the Achronim and the Rishonim. Rishonim beinecha k'malochim, Achronim k'anoshim, Rishonim k'anoshim, Achronim k'chamorim, v'loi k'chamorim sherapinchas ben Yoav b'chinim ben Daisa. We have no idea the gadlus of the Imois, but we have a rule, ein mikra yotze midei pshutai. The way it says it in the Pasuk, that's how we learn it. The Pasuk said she screamed at him. thief, why did you pray for yourself and not for me? And he didn't answer her back, because you don't need to answer her back. She is in pain. She's feeling bad. Feel with her. Don't answer her back. That's not going to help. You know, I often get somebody comes over and he confides in me and he tells me, like, what should I do? My wife asked me for a get. And I turn around to him and I smile and I say, Baruch Hashem, she's normal. The Gemara says in Yevomis that a woman is believed to say that her husband died and now she can remarry. If it's during battle, during a war, she's not believed, because he might have almost got killed and she like imagined the rest. Also, if there's big fights going on between them, she's not believed, because she might be fed up. Want to get out of here. Not everybody's such a big tzidkonis. So the Gemara says, what kind of fights are we talking about? The Gemara says, a woman who says, I want a get, garsheni. The Gemara says, no, that can't be. They all say that. They all say that means you get some who say it 50 times a day, and you get others who say it once in 50 years. But if the Gemara says they all say it, Baruch Hashem, your wife is normal. Yeah. What could be the chukim? You know, a chuk is something that the Sultan of Umas Ha'olam say, what is this? Why can't I wear shatnez and eat pork? It's hard to explain. When a woman makes a neder, she only makes the neder if her husband will agree. Says the Maran Avuchim, because women are very agile in that you can call it mood swings, you can call it whatever word you like, you can call it an insulting word if you want, but this is the way Hashem created her and there's no reason to be insulted from it. If a man makes a neder from his wife, he's got 7 days to be matir. You know, made a neder not to have relations, he's got 7 days to be matir that neder by a chochem, and if he doesn't do that, then he's got to give her a get and her ksuba. Now what about if a woman makes a neder and the husband was mekayim it? Halachically, 5 minutes before Shkia, she's in a rage and she blurts out at this neder, and he's so bewildered he just sits there quietly until Shkia arrives and it's too late to be matir the neder, so he was mekayim it. Who's wrong here? Is she wrong? He wrong? Like, you know, in Choshen Mishpat there's dinim, you hit first, who gets punished? Like, who's wrong over here? The Gemara says you don't get 7 days. You have to give her a get immediately. Either be matir your neder immediately or give her a get and a ksuba immediately. It's your fault, not hers. Does that make sense? Yes, it makes sense. I'm telling you Gemara Rashi. Rashi explains. When he makes a neder, she understands. It's not pleasant, but men can get angry. If he can calm down within 7 days, I'm willing to stick around over here. But if I made a neder and he was mekayim it, he hates me. With a man who hates me, I can't stick around even 1 minute. Yeah, this is how they work. They're constantly testing us. So let's try and work this out. So if a woman gets into a rage with her husband, is that causing a rift between them? Or is that the Raivad who's saying that that you have to l'rachim oleho l'shomra? She gets a chukka to have relations because he's yotze l'derech, you have to give her that. She gets a chukka just to get a hug and a kiss, shach ramah, you have to give her that. She gets a chukka to have divrei ritzui, just to sit around and chat with you, you have to give her that. She gets sometimes a chukka to get respect, you have to give her that. She gets a chukka, ve'el ishech chukosech, she gets a taiva to get rachmanis. And when you've had a tough day, you also need to share it with someone. One of the memches kinyanei Torah is noisa ba'elim chaveiroi. But when she's had a hard day, she's like an eva merachefes al penei hamayim. She can't function until she sticks to her guf. And she needs her husband to partake in her pain. And he has a chayva of l'rachim oleho. When she is scared of a cockroach, but they don't kill, but she is scared of a cockroach, standing on the chair in the middle of the kitchen in her 8th month, and there it is, the 2 horns coming out from under the fridge, and she's terrified. It doesn't help to say they don't kill. She is scared, you have to protect her. If she's OC about if the door's locked or not, and I've checked that door already 4 times over the last 20 minutes, why do you want me to check again? I know it's locked, but the Torah says, L'shomra. She has a chukka that you should be shomer her. You should protect her and guard her. And she wants you to check the door again. So get up and check the door, because that's what Hashem wants you to do. And this is how you build your v'dovak bi'ishtoi v'hoyu levoso echad with your wife. There are too many therapists who are just giving people strategies and advice and solutions and all kind of stuff of how to stick together. And then they say that when she screams at you, tell her, why are you screaming? Say that nicely, this is causing a rift. This is not causing a rift. When she's screaming at you, she is begging, please have Rachmanos on me. Avraham Avinu didn't answer back. Don't worry, they have their limits too. When she said, Yishboit Hashem, the Gemara says that Avraham Avinu came to give a hesped on her first. You can't give over your din to Shamayim, you can't curse. That was too far. Again, Ein Mikra Midei Pshuta, I'm only telling what the Gemara says. Who are we to think about the Avos and the Imohis? Now, when you bench your children on Friday night, and you say to the girls, Yisimech Alikim Kasor Rivka Rachel V'Leah, Leah, she... Okay, let's take a couple of things about Leah. Leah's son comes in with the herbs, the dudoi bini, and Rachel says to her, please give me some, please. And she says to her, Hama'at kachteches ishi ve'rokachas gam dudoi bini. Not enough you stole my husband, you want also the herbs that my son brought to me to have more children? We know there's got to be 12 tribes, and you know she's already had and she hasn't had any yet. 1 second. Everybody knew Lavan has 2 daughters and and Rivka has 2 sons, and the big one's going to the big one, the little one to the little one. Yaakov Avinu turned up by the well, he gave her a kiss, they made up they're getting married. For 7 years Yaakov Avinu was sending presents to Rachel and she was giving them over to Leah. Came the night of the chasna, and Rachel thought to herself, so terrible, my sister Leah is going to go into the dark bedroom and things are going to start happening. And he's going to ask her, have you got the simonim? And she's going to say no. Oh, that's going to be such a not sneer sticker thing. We can't have that happen. She gave her over the simonim. Now she's stuck out dry, and Esav's going to come round and walk off with her. She knew that's going to happen. But Baruch Hashem, it didn't. You've got the audacity to tell me, but Rachel does not answer back. There's a person in pain here. All it warrants is to feel with their pain, not to answer them back. Leah Imenu tells Yaakov, I'm not having any more, we've got to get to 12 Shvatim. Please, take Zilpah, my Shivcha, and build another Shevet from her. And they all daven, and he does it, and Baruch Hashem, a baby gets born, and they call him God. And Rashi's explaining what this name God, Dova Acher, Bo God, the Pasuk says, Bo God, that she's screaming at him. Ke'ish haboiged be'eshes nu'urim. Can you imagine? After everything so successful, you've got another shevet. She turns around to Yaakov and she tells him, you've been unfaithful to a loving wife of your youth. Wow. And that name sticks. All the way till they got to Eretz Yisrael and gave it out. All the way till Yechezkel Novi gives out Eretz Yisrael. And Yaakov Avinu didn't answer anything back. Rachel Imenu, Rachel who lived her whole being just for others. Rachel Mevaker Baneha, Kol Barama Nishma, HaKadosh Baruch Hu can't refuse Rachel. Rachel Imenu, when she comes to Yaakov Avinu and she tells him, the Gemara says 4 people are considered as if they're dead. One of them is a person without children, Nebuch. And Rachel tells Yaakov, you know, the ladies, when they read the Haftarah on Rosh Hashanah, the Elkanah tells Chana, am I not better to you than 10 sons? They laugh. We cry. Stupid. He really thinks he's better than 10 sons. A woman without children, Nebuch. And she tells Yaakov Avinu, Havali bonim v'im ayin meisa anoichi. Bring me children, and if not, I'm dead. And what does he do? Like us men, everything gets packed in the practical square or cube. He answers her back, something very rational. Hatachas elikim anoichi, Hashem mona mimeich pri boten. Am I in place of God? I've been davening from the other wives I've got. God's prevented you from having children. It's nothing to do with me. In the Medrash says he got in big trouble for that. HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked him, "Is that how you answer back broken people?" We're talking about the Imois HaKadoshis. We're talking about the Imois HaKadoshis. This is the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the Nekeva. Yes, she screams, Garsheni, and she does it as much as she likes because she is a woman. This is the way she was created. The day her husband says, "Okay, give me the community guide. Let me see when the Beis Din sits." Boom. That's it. He's been unfaithful. Terribly unfaithful. Why? Because he is the guf. And she is one of his 248 Evarim. The guf has another 247 Evarim. But you go out, you have your social status, you make money, you enjoy, you've got challenges in life that you overcome. She has a husband, only a husband. Each Eva has only one guf. And she needs to get everything, physically, emotionally, everything from her husband. This is v'dovak be'ishtoi v'hoyu lebasar echad. We're all one. Her pain is my pain. Her happiness is my happiness. Her embarrassment is my embarrassment. Her jewelry that she enjoys, I enjoy. This is v'dovak be'ishtoi v'hoyu lebasar echad. It's not, please say that nicely, it's causing a rift. It's not causing a rift at all. It's bringing us close. I'm just crying. Please, have rachmanas. A lot of men get this wrong. She gets at us, and I'm not going to use words like tantrum and temper because it's not deserving. I don't even want to use the word mood swing. A woman has bina yisera. She matures a whole year earlier than a man. She has very deep intuition. She's makeres ba'orchim. She could, when Elisha turned up with Gehazi, she saw Mrs. Shunam straight away. He is a big tzaddik, and him, But Rabbi Shunim didn't see the difference. Probably Gehazi had a longer, whiter beard with, A woman has bina yisei, and she's makeres ba'orchim. A woman feels what her husband feels with him. With even Shimshon and Delilah, nikorim divrei emes. Everybody has telepathy. It's a pasuk, and istakel ba'iraiso boro alma. The pasuk says, "Kamayim aponim laponim kein leva adam ela adam." Just like you look in the water, you see a reflection, also a heart to a heart. You feel what the other person is feeling about you. Your wife really knows. You can't just compliment her. You've got to contemplate that first and feel it, and then you can compliment her. And also, you're always complimenting me about the food and about my dress and about this. But when I have a toothache, what are you doing? Getting an emergency, the most expensive dentist in town, and getting you some Tylenols quick before. 1 second. Will you come here and sit down with me and feel with me my pain that I'm having in my toothache because I can't manage on my own? The v'dovak v'ishtoi v'hoyu lebasa echad is absolute unity. Ahava is a gematria 13. 13 attributes of chesed and rachamim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us that every Jew must have for every Jew. Ahava is also the gematria of echad. When he will have ahava for her, she will have ahava for him. They will get to echad. And ahava, 13 plus 13 gets to 26. 26 is the Shem Havaya. The Dibros Moshe says at the end of Parshas Beshalach, Ki yodal keis ko, milchom Hashem ba'amalek. It's a half a Shem, Yud K. In the Ksuba, it's not just a prenup, it's a Kodesh document. There's 10 things that he's chayav to her, that's the Yud. 5 things she's chayav to him, that's the Hey. Says the Dibros Moshe, the rest of the job is on us to complete. For Yehiratzon, that we should have ahava, us for our wives, and our wives for us. And we should be zeicha to get to v'dovat bishlei v'hoyu lebasa echad. And the Zohar Kodesh says, Hu echad, and his shmoi is echad, and he should be mashrei his shechina b'mkoim ha'achdus, in the house of each and every one of us, and eventually we should get to Binyan Beis HaMikdash with Hashras HaShechina v'Yisrael b'mher v'yamein Amen.